Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top mid and low cap cryptos that could potentially make massive gains for the rest of this year. These are cryptos below $1 billion market cap valuations, so there's going to be no coins above $1 billion, and they range in terms of risk. Okay, some of them are much more risky, some of them are a little bit more safe. So if that sounds like an interesting video, please make sure to smash the likes on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you like this type of content. And if you are interested in a 24/7 active Discord community, if you're interested in my personal buys and sells in real-time notifications, check out the link in the description, check out the sale available, and join the VIP group now before the prices go up. I highly recommend it. Have a competitive edge. Don't be a lone wolf in the crypto market. So altcoins have been looking a bit better lately. You can see if we look at the total 3 chart, which is all the cryptos besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can see we are currently testing the March highs of 2024. Very, very key levels. This was the point in which we broke down, causing a massive crash. If we can get above this, and if we can get above this kind of support trend line, I would be really, really bullish. I would actually flip macro bullish on altcoins for the next few months, and I would be expecting a retest of maybe these highs or even higher before the end of the year. Okay, maybe in the summer. So we're going to go through some of my favorite mid and low caps today. Okay, but this is very important, guys, that you're looking at this chart. If we break above this, you're going to be looking at potential major moves on altcoins. If we reject here and come back down, you're probably expecting widespread discounts. So the first altcoin on this list is none other than Say. This is a DeFi layer 1, extremely fast layer 1, 12,500 transactions per second. It's backed by some of the biggest names in the financial sector, especially the crypto sector, the likes of Circle, okay, the likes of Coinbase, just to name a couple. Trump also buys this quite frequently in his World Liberty Financial Holdings company. So that is kind of proof itself that this is a quality coin, the fact that the president is loading up on it in his own crypto portfolio. And yeah, I mean, the all-time chart, it hasn't looked the greatest for a while, but I do believe this project's fundamentals are very, very good. And for that reason, I expect that once we get an altcoin bounce, it will have a really nice recovery. Okay, it's got every reason to do that. When you look at the quality, when you look at the fundamentals, it's just had a very bad time, as have the rest of the altcoins pretty much. Okay, so Say would be number 1, currently sat at basically 900 million in market cap. I would expect this one to get anywhere between 5 to 20 billion in market cap. Okay, my bull case on Say would be like a 20 billion market cap. Bear case would maybe be 5 billion. Obviously, it all depends how the rest of the market does in the next few months. But if we go and put the fib retracement on the Say chart, you can target some levels here. So if we're looking at a 786 level, you'd be looking at basically 93 cents for Say. Now, one thing I will say is not every single altcoin is guaranteed to form a new all-time high on this next run. There will be a lot of altcoins which don't form a new all-time high, and they probably will reject around the 786 level, which is quite common with weaker altcoins. Now, I don't believe that will be Say. I think it will be strong enough to get above its all-time high and potentially challenge the 1.618 and higher. But I'm just putting it out there to look at, okay? Sometimes certain altcoins that don't perform as well, they don't form new all-time highs. This happened in 2021. If you go and look at the 2021 bull run, you had a first run up here, followed by a second run up. Quite a lot of altcoins actually topped out in that first run up. So that's just something to be aware of with some altcoins. The next one on my list here would be Aerodrome. Okay, now Aerodrome's chart looks very, very funny. If you look at the chart, it's literally a double top, perfectly double topped, and then a clear support level. Okay, it actually broke down below this very important support level in the last few weeks, but I would argue that is just a blip based on basically the market, going really, really bad, going downhill. the last few weeks. But you could even extend this out and say that this is the clear support level, this is when to buy, and this is the clear resistance level. That could be when to sell. Now, again, I think we will be entering the most explosive stage of the bull run where a lot of altcoins go and make blow off tops. And I would be inclined to believe that Aerodrome would be one of the altcoins that would make a higher high. But even if it doesn't do that, this is not a bad time to take profits, okay? Because it's clearly a resistance level where we've had two clear tops. And, you know, if you're buying right now and selling that, you're looking at really, really nice profits. So Aerodrome would be one that I would be looking to stack literally right now as it's in this support range. Once it gets up, you know, into this level and higher, then I maybe be looking to take some profits. If we do a fib retracement on Aerodrome from the all-time high to this low down here, you know, you could be looking at potentially $3.60 as the first target. Then if it does really, really well, you could be looking at over a 10x on Aerodrome, looking at 5.79 as the 2.618 target, okay? I'm not saying that will happen, but considering that it looks like maybe Ethereum has bottomed and we're going to start seeing some of these Ethereum beta plays do well, I would expect the AMM and the DEX on Base to do really, really well, because Base is basically keeping Ethereum alive right now. You know, Base is basically the future for Ethereum. You can't deny, right? Ethereum doesn't have the speed and throughput to survive on its own. It needs layer twos, and I think Base will be that one that complements Ethereum. So, you know, if we're looking at the project itself, like I said, it is the AMM, automated market maker, and DEX for Base. So basically all the DeFi on Base is going through Aerodrome. Yeah, it's really that simple. So go check it out. I think it's a good buy. I didn't hold it on any of the previous pumps or dumps on the chart. I literally just started stacking it during this support level. And I think it's going to do really, really well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. The next pick would be a gaming pick, and that would be Beam. Okay, put really simple, Beam is an infrastructure layer for gaming. It's got an SDK that allows you to build anything gaming on Beam, right? So really, really simple. I'm not going to go too much into the explanations for these altcoins. I don't really want to do that. We don't have time to do that. It's on Binance, and you know, you look at the all-time chart, it doesn't look amazing, but it has held in. Okay, it's held in there. A lot of altcoins, particularly in the gaming category, they've completely and utterly collapsed. Now, Beam has gone down 86% from its all-time high, but that isn't really a true collapse. I've seen a lot of gaming coins down over 99%. So in respect to gaming, it's actually held in pretty well. If we look at the all-time chart here, I personally think anywhere around the 6-cent region, 6 cents on Beam is a great buy. And you know, just look at the chart. I mean, it's down in its range lows. If you believe in blockchain gaming, if you think it has a future, this could be a potential 6 to 10x this bull run. Okay, so really, really solid project, and I think Beam will do very well. So it's not necessarily going to give you that 20 to 100x that you might be looking at with some other gaming coins. If you're looking at lower cap gaming coins, obviously they could make you more x's, but they could also go down 99%, like a lot of them have. Beam isn't really going to do that, but it is potentially going to provide really, really good lucrative returns. So as for the price action, I'd be looking at potentially around 0.07 on Beam, which is just over a 10x as of right now. So maybe an 11 to 12x, something like that on Beam would be great. Okay, because it is the best gaming project. You're looking at the market cap. It's not too high. I mean, it's high for gaming, but when you consider that Axie Infinity went to 10 billion last cycle and that was a single game, you know, you don't think Beam could go to 6 billion this bull run? I personally think it can. All right, so now we're getting into some of the more risky projects here. We've got Peak, $88 million market cap, all-time chart, doesn't look amazing. Why is that? Well, it launched, in my opinion, at bad timing, and you can't really blame the project's fundamentals for that. It just happened to be a bad time to launch, right? Just around the time crypto was topping out. Had they launched maybe a year ago, the all-time chart probably wouldn't look like this. However, the project's fundamentals, again, they speak for themselves. Launch with bad timing, but the fundamentals are really, really strong. Powering the machine economy. This is a Deepin project. They have many, many, many machines hooked on the network, essentially. So for me, this type of thing, Deepin, is the future, right? Okay, now it is quite speculative to argue that basically the whole energy grid and everything is all going to be decentralized, but it does make sense when you're thinking about it, right? No single point of failure, no centralization. AI is going to be the future. Maybe you pair AI, Deepin, and the blockchain all together, and you get very efficient systems. So that's basically what they're trying to do. They have over $3 billion worth of devices on the peak network, essentially, and over 6 million different machines, vehicles, robots, and devices. So this is very impressive considering the market cap. I think Peak can do really, really good things. If you're bullish on AI, if you're bullish on Deepin, this would be one of the best bets in that sector. Okay, talking about Deepin, we got another project here, which is IO.net, $92 million market cap. The way how I'd like to explain this is it's very similar to Render, but also quite different. Okay, so same kind of category as Render, but Render has a big focus on graphics, artwork, gaming, that type of rendering. Whereas IO.net, the compute is more based on AI and machine learning, okay, facilitating those types of functions. So IO.net, very good project, and only at $92 million in market cap. This is one which could really, really do big things in terms of X's. I'm not going to go and throw out ridiculous numbers, but could this one go and do a 10 to 20x? I think it's very possible. Next pick, we have Virtuals. Now, Virtuals is one which I was telling people at the top, this is looking very toppy. Okay, this is looking like it's going to have a massive dump. And unfortunately, some of my VIP members managed to sell around that time when I was telling them. And, they've saved a ton of money based on that call from me. Now, I never bought Virtuals in the past, but I've looked at the price currently and I'm thinking this is just too low to ignore. We had one of the biggest booms ever in a sector the last few months with AI agents, and all of a sudden, no one's talking about it. Don't you think when the risk comes back to the market that everyone's going to start talking about AI agents again? I sometimes tune into, CNBC, Bloomberg, those types of financial news channels. And when they're talking about technology, they do mention agents. They do mention AI moving or basically evolving into an agentic layer rather than how it is currently with the chatbots. It will move more towards agents. So they are discussing this in the mainstream. Just right now, the risk is completely evaporated from the market. But when it comes back, I would imagine AI agents and AI in general to rally again. And rather than betting on a specific agent, I would rather just bet on Virtuals and, maybe it goes back to its all-time high. And if it does that, I mean, who knows? Maybe it will. If it does that, you're talking just under a 10x, just to all-time highs. And it could go far and beyond that if we get a really good bull run. So for me, this is a decent buy right now. I was looking at the all-time chart and it was bleeding out, bleeding out, bleeding out. I was warning people about AI agents getting overheated and that it was due a correction. But now to me, it looks like it may have just formed a bottom. Okay, when you're looking at the price, it's kind of just slowing down now. It's not as volatile. It looks like it's kind of stopped its dump for the time being. So this would be one as well I'd be looking to pick up in the AI sector. A little bit more speculative, but who knows, man? This could do very, very well. Anyway, that wraps up today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I've shared with you my favorite mid-cap cryptocurrencies. If you want to get my real-time buy and sell alerts, check out the VIP group linked in the description. Whenever I buy a project, I will drop it in the Discord. You also get 24/7 active chat channels. I also go on the voice chat pretty much every day, so you can talk to me, myself, on the voice chat. We can talk about the markets. We can talk about your portfolio. I'm currently in the process of going over many VIP members' portfolios, and I'll be releasing a video going through the portfolios, ranking them, rating them, telling you what I'd improve, telling you what I get rid of. So if you like all of that, if you want a comprehensive group to help you with your crypto journey, check out the discount linked in the description. There's a sale on right now. It's not going to be there for long. Take full advantage. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.